So Hitchcock Radio Show, it's this neat little show presenting three different classic Hitchcock stories. We have The Lodger, Sabotage, and 39 Steps, presented in the style of a live 1940s radio show. This particular show is really interesting because it's kind of like two shows in one. Because if you listen, you just hear the storyline, you hear the voice actors, you hear all of the crazy stuff that they're doing and the wonderful talent that they have. But then if you step back and watch it, there's an entire different story of actor shenanigans and, just different things that happen, backstage at a regular show that the audience normally doesn't get to see. The Lodger takes place in London in 1888, surrounding Ellen and Robert. They own a nice little house with rooms to let in the Whitechapel district. And there's, rumors of this Avenger fellow going around and he's, killing young blonde women at music halls. So, there's this background of who is this man, where is he? And there's a sudden, very strange visitor who comes to stay in the inn. So, it's how we revolve around that. Sabotage it was renamed from another Hitchcock that escapes me at the moment, but it involves Anton Verloc, who is involved with organized crime and a terrorist group, in short. It's never explicitly said, but that's basically what he's doing. And he is charged with first he sabotages a power plant, and then he has to plant some fireworks at a public station. But he has to do it secretly. He has his wife to think of, who is, sweet and innocent. She knows nothing of what's going on, and her little brother. Not to mention a friend across the street who takes a suspicious eye on them to keep an eye on Anton Verloc. 39 Steps is probably the most well-known story. That's one that a lot of people, I rattle off the shows and I get to 39 Steps and they're like, ooh, I'm excited for that. And it's a very nice little spy story in which Richard Hannay basically has a task thrown into his lap just suddenly one night of the mystery of the 39 Steps. And what the 39 Steps are, and he goes on a quest pretty much throughout London and Scotland to figure out exactly what's going on here and how the 39 Steps is involved with stealing an air ministry secret vital to the nation's national defense. So we get to see how that plays out. Constructing a visual aspect is probably the biggest challenge because the script is written solely for audio. There's no stage directions that aren't, sound effects. It's just basically you create the show around the script. Why did I want to direct this? I have always been very fascinated by the 1940s. That's my favorite aesthetic. I love the hats and the glamour of it. I also am pretty new to theater, performing and acting. I was a dancer for a very long time. And when I got into theater, I noticed that there's a lot of fun going on backstage with the actors and interacting with each other, and we have our own inside jokes by the end of the show. And I was thinking, it's really such a shame that the audience never gets to experience that because it's a whole other level to theater. And I was thinking about it and I realized, this could be an opportunity to give the audience a little peek into what really goes on. I feel like it would be, it's one of the big climax scenes in Sabotage that I'm most excited about. It's the bus scene where Stevie gets on the bus and he is carrying these film tins, which first of all shouldn't be allowed in public vehicles because they're flammable. Mm-hmm. And the audience, it's this form of dramatic irony where the audience knows it's actually a bomb, but Stevie doesn't know that. So naturally he's a kid and he was tasked, he was supposed to take it to the bus station at 2:30 so that when it explodes at 3, he would still be far away. Well, he's a little 10-year-old boy, so naturally he gets distracted and then he's still on the bus at 3 o'clock. So it's a very building up to the scene and there's a lot of sound effects of like clocks ticking and getting added. So we're building the suspense. There's a lot of characters that suddenly get added in. There's a woman with a little puppy named Alfred on the bus. So just the impending doom and the dramatic irony right there, that's really exciting. Basically, in the beginning, it was I gave the actors their scripts, and we sat down, and I had already cast the major roles, but we had a lot of minor roles that only had 1 or 2 lines. So I basically let anyone who wanted it take it, and I just gave them the books, and I said, go. And I gave them directions for how to deliver the lines, but most of the shenanigans that go on and all the, the characters and their interactions with each other, most of that is all them. So I am very proud of the creativity and all the work that they have put in. In general, it was very difficult because we have a total of 9 actors and easily over 50 roles that needed to be filled. So when I was casting, we had to consider, who is speaking at this time, because if 2 characters are in dialogue, I can't necessarily give them the same part because that's just too much to ask of one person. So I had to think, who is on stage right now, who hasn't had lines in a while, who has the voice for this part. When we auditioned, I asked them to do different accents and to see what they had. So that did help. And for instance, one of our characters did a gangster accent when he auditioned, and he plays 2 gangsters later. So that was very helpful. And I had a really good casting team behind me. I hope that they will get an incentive to see it twice, because I really want them, the first time they see it, to just sit back and just listen to the show and listen to the plot and the wonderful writings and the storylines of Alfred Hitchcock. And then I want them to come back again and pay attention solely on the actors and on the shenanigans and all the relationships and all the little nuances that you won't catch the first time around because they're so good at hiding it. Come see Vintage Hitchcock here at Gleason Auditorium on April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, which is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then also on April 9th, 10th, and 11th, which is the Thursday, Friday, Saturday of the next week. There will be a faculty night on April 1st, so faculty, please come in, feel free, and that is a free admission for Florida Tech faculty. On any other nights, it is free with a Florida Tech ID. Other students, military seniors, are $5 admission, and then general admission is $10.